We're watching Malachi Toney's performance from last weekend. This is a guy that's on track to finish this season with 920 receiving yards. How impressive is that to be a true freshman, just walk into college football and already be a 900-yard wide receiver your first season in college? Of course, he's going to have to be consistent. We're only 3 games into the season, but I think over the course of these first 3 games, he's been very consistent. I will tell you, the game against Notre Dame, the game against Bethune were a bit more flashy than it was this last week against South Florida. Still such an effective wide receiver already as a true freshman. So this first route we're going to take a look at. What I like about this one is just kind of the subtleness that Malachi Toney moves with. In high school, a lot of these kids are so much faster than everybody that they're just going to be asked to be running, their 100-meter the whole time. Malachi Toney already is a true freshman. He's so much faster. We knew that watching the high school film, but just take a look at the way that he gears down when he's open, and he's able to run this route right in the right spot, right behind this flat defender, right behind this curl defender, and right before this safety. He's in the perfect spot for Carson Beck to just deliver this ball. But just take a look at the release here. Just how fast that is. He's open now and then does a good job not running himself into coverage. So all season I've been talking about Malachi Toney being a 5'11 wide receiver, a bit on the shorter end. He gets away with that with the amount of separation that he creates. Every now and then you just can't get away with only being 5'11. And this next pass we're going to take a look at, it's not on Malachi Toney. This is just kind of something that you have to get around being a bit shorter. This is a bad ball by Carson Beck, that's for sure. One of the few bad throws Carson Beck's had all season, but at the same time, I do think if Malachi Toney was 6'2", this one ends up being a reception instead of an interception the other way. Watching this live, I thought that Malachi Toney was going to do like a CJ Daniels type catch, and I was so excited. Just didn't happen. It's a good job getting a hand on it. It is what it is. At 5'11", you're going to have to just get around those stuff. Anyways, again, the subtleness that Malachi Toney moves with. At 5'11", another thing that's working against you is these linebackers are so much bigger. A lot of times once they get their hands on you, you're just completely knocked off of your route. Just look at how, it's not even just how fast he's moving, just how under control he is, and this linebacker doesn't even have a chance to knock him off his route. So many interceptions happen because the wide receivers aren't where they need to be, because they get knocked off by these hook to curl defenders or whatever. They're trying to deliver him to the next defender. This linebacker didn't even have a chance to really get his hands on Malachi Toney, and he's wide open. This is a beautiful ball by Beck right over the middle. A lot of interceptions happen just because they get knocked off of their routes, these wide receivers. Great job by Toney not getting knocked off on that one. And this next one, I've been talking about past 3 weeks about these quick bubble screens and how they're going to start taking these linebackers out of the boxes. You see this linebacker that's close to Toney right now. That's kind of splitting the difference between the end man on the line of scrimmage and Malachi Toney. Eventually, when these teams start getting bit in the ass by these 3-yard flare-outs because of how dynamic Malachi Toney is with the ball in his hands, they're going to have to start committing that guy to him, and all of a sudden you're going to be running into a 7-man box, Miami has 7 in the box right now, including the wing and the tight end. That's a numbers game with this Miami offensive line with Alex Mirabel that I'm taking those chances. Anyways, they're not doing that yet. They're not committing to this bubble yet. I think they will eventually. This is another one just kind of off by Carson Beck. This one kind of has to lead him upfield a bit more and not be quite as deep, I guess. But this is a pretty nice adjustment to this ball here. And then the user stumble recovery. When this is on the money, though, you just take a look at the amount of space that Malachi Toney has here. If he gets this ball right now, the way that I know Carson Beck, has all season been able to do it, this could be a 30-yard touchdown and on a 3-yard pass. Eventually, that linebacker is going to start having to respect that, and eventually you're going to start running into a lot more minus boxes. Anyways, that was Malachi Toney from this last week. You guys let me know what you're seeing. I kind of want to emphasize that. I like it when you guys reach out and you talk about what you're seeing. I'm not trying to come on here and tell you, my word is law, this is what Malachi Toney's good at. I just try to open up the conversation so we can kind of, have a better understanding of what exactly Miami has with him. By all accounts, seems like this guy's going to be pretty good going forward. You guys let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.